Hi everyone. So when I was channeling my guides the other day, they were really bringing through the message for us to look at ourselves and our kind of programming, our social conditioning that leads us to the beliefs that we have about ourselves and about what we see as being potential and possible for the outcomes of our future. So most of us will have had quite a lot of social conditioning unintentionally throughout our lives that has led us to believe that we are able to obtain a certain level of abundance or achievement or ease of experience of human life, which actually is just a story that we've told ourselves. And it can be quite a tricky thing to then move out of and change our perception to one that's really, really different. But if you take somebody who's always had a lot of wealth in their life, okay, you might look at them and think, oh, they're really lucky, that's what they were born into. But because they have experienced that from the beginning, they are often able to take it to higher levels because they're not restricted by the idea that it's not available to them. So whilst you might have been born into very adverse circumstances, it doesn't mean that you're not able to change that pattern, change that dynamic, by understanding how your thoughts and your mental processes create the energies that bring more of the same or change it and bring something better or something worse into your human experience. So if you're expecting very negative things to happen, it's likely that is going to be what you experience. Or if you have a negative view of your appearance, then you tend to become more self-conscious and feel much more like people are paying attention to the things that you feel negative with about yourself. Whereas when you feel positive about how you look, you have more confidence, and therefore that kind of overshadows anything that you might perceive as being negative, and people react differently to you. People react differently to people who are confident and in a space of love within themselves as well. There is a difference between that and kind of being into the ego side of things where it becomes overly obsessive, but that's a lot to do with how your energy is aligned and where it's out of balance. And that's another kind of more extensive subject. But if you can start to really consciously think about how you think about yourself and what you say to yourself, what is the narrative that you bring to yourself about your past, about your present, that's going to affect your future? Because actually, you're not your past, you're not your family, you're not your social upbringing, your social status, whatever. That's not who you are. You're an energetic being that's come from source energy, who is able to create just as much as any other being on the planet is able to create. But it's almost like a trick of the mind that has kept you from being able to tune into and believe that about yourself. So learn to trick yourself back, learn to reprogram yourself into a state that believes that these things are possible for you. Because once you have that belief, you start to create a difference in your emotions. And once your emotions start to change about how you feel about your circumstances, they start sending out frequencies, they start sending out like antennae all over the universe, asking for more of the same thing to be attracted back to you. So once you change your mind chatter, change what you believe, which isn't particularly difficult. It takes sometimes stages. Sometimes you might need to just change little things at first, like rather than thinking, I'm going to have to wait ages in the queue when I go to the post office, start thinking, I'm going to get there and I'm going to get to the front of the queue straight away. I know it sounds trivial, but it can be those things that we start to create that just we notice the moments where things get a little bit easier. And then the more that we have those moments, the more that we notice more of them. And then we attract more of that to us. And that gets the ball rolling and you really start to change your frequency.